time.
Case with an overview, framework, and okay. Okay. Ready? Military presence and sovereignty rely on the deontologizing of animals to establish a side of absolute dereliction that can bring coherency to the violence of civil society that's wide. Although, as to more than non-human, this is a political project we must undertake to file away the intellectual foundations of human exceptionalism. Only the saws us in the corner. We must reject our desire for human-centered control in order to orient ourselves to the non-humans with the possibility for life. Extend wide. We must detach subjectivity from legal liberalism in order to prevent the policing of what constitutes the structure for creating these endless wars on difference. As evidence, the role of the ballot is to endorse thinking that best methodologically confirms human exceptionalism. 3 reasons to prefer extend first priority. They know the original material stage that makes violence possible, as Wolf authorizes everyday apocalypse on animalized bodies, which alone can make serial policy failure inevitable. That's why will extend epistemology. There disembodied legal, disembodied knowledge production is fabricated, is built on the power intelligence and non-humans and negatives. Our arguments feed into the hegemonic systems, which makes inevitable violent forms of knowledge production. That's why will extend refusal. Okay. You just want to go to framework?
Yep.
Okay, go to framework. The cat held dare to hostage to Joe after let the animal hold you hostage. They say we should theorize animals as objects. This is what the 1AC does. The animal is the unknowable object and non-subject to the subject of the judge. Reading the animal opens up the alterity by undoing the subjectivity. Its encounter with the animal always other than we undo all conceptions of knowing the stuff that's our birds and the Alonzo evidence that they conceded we are more opaque than they are because challenging the schema of the knowing subject self, i.e. the human, makes a form of politics that are literally unintelligible to civil society because it starts not with the self but with the non-self. The animal, they say we make the system better via the ballot and the passivity is a better strategy, but I don't think they have an answer to the Robinson evidence that the system is weak right now. The system can be obstructed by the small thing like the pseudo radical movements like occupy such a no reason total opacity is key or necessary and prime. And do you want me to read this? Okay. Necessary and debate something more than a theater than prefer the performance of the app at least makes the illusion of debate. It ignores by discussing an advocacy oriented the resolution versus the pathetic performance of the one that ignores the means of subversion be dramatic of playing with the state. We meet their framework while their argument links uniquely to the performance of the K and intersolve its solvency. Let's go to the K proper. On the link debate, they say when we render the animal visible, bring it to the forefront of this discussion, we make the enemy, we make it the enemy because the feedback loop of the academy that demands a sacrifice. 2 reasons this is not true. They have functionally conceded that this is not unique because the debate space already makes the animal the enemy, the undone, or thing that can be consumed. So the neg links to this quote only chance the abstracts away the current structure of the academy and they link to themselves. They are explicit in how they blow up and dismantle the system by holding a mirror up to their critique of co-options co-opted by the system. They aren't taking debate hostage. Debate humanist ethics is that preclude confrontation of human exceptionalism has taken them hostage by refusing to engage with the context of the act. Instead, the perm of the take the 1 and C hostage. Also, the perm sells back the link. The perm offers to the 1 and C as a sacrifice to break the feedback loop and have the 1 and C stand in as a grave marker to respect the alterity of the other. That's the most subversive form of politics. That's the Alonzo read the card after right. It's fantastic and extend perm to the F and all non-competitive parts of the we can use irony to dismantle the political machine of debate, but we don't have to do it from Baudrillard's ivory tower. And they say perm is cowardice, but hostage taking in and of itself is cowardice because the terrorist isn't confident enough of itself to blow to the damn tower. They take hostages to get attention while accomplishing nothing but other than killing nothing but another killing that the state would have already caused. Regardless, they say we are the ethics that real. That real life and humanism, a couple of problems here. One, they don't define ethics, so they fall to ask the description that we are anti-ethical because we defy the norms of the system that posits human ethics, where we can never acknowledge that the animal or more in its existence. Also, they have conceded that not all ethics are always humanist. It's their burden to prove that ours is uniquely human, which I think they haven't subsequently done. Also, respecting the other doesn't mean ethics. It means we just choose not to proper humanist epistemology. They say Academy bites back, choose to be a masochist, and it spaces in our ironic ignorance of the Academy's teeth prefer the act and the permit that ironically engage in the Academy and open itself up to death, where the suicide bomber taking the hostage when I see bombing the app will always be better than the neg extend Rooney to AC analysis. The neg is constant aversion to the gaze of the animal. The app chooses to look into it and realize the horror of humanism and the illegitimacy. The next refusal of the gaze proximity to humanist, meaning the odd and only ever accessible to the humanist epistemology. And they also conceded that when in the odd is a refusal presumption flips app because we are the stance of nothing where the next refusal is cause, and they're conceded that Baudrillard can't recognize privilege, meaning that you hold their all at a high threshold because it's likely only applicable to the specific instances and it's not the universalizing framing that they try to shape it as in debate. There are instances when we can stop the feedback loop. The app is the instance of they've conceded that the system is founded on the disavowal of the animal. Don't buy into the feedback loop. Stop it by looking at the animal and mourning it.
The app doesn't presume to know the animal, which means we don't
The
need
app
the ethics argument.
doesn't presume to know the animal. We're saying we can never foundationally know the other. That's why we have to have an alterity of respect towards the other. That means we don't link it to their ethics arguments.
Or any of their subject arguments. We say subjectivity is undone when we look at the animal.
We don't link to their ethics argument or subjectivity arguments because we say that subjectivity is uniquely undone when we look at the animal. I.e., when Derrida looked at the cat, he realized he could not know. He realized that he could not know the cat. It was
Or
just,
know himself.
Or know himself.
You should go down cards that I read. The Robinson
Okay.
evidence was cold conceded. You should like make sure that the 2NR can answer it.
Okay.
It's not about internal implosion. It says that the system is weak. Like things like WikiLeaks, London unrest can disrupt it.
They fundamentally conceded the Robinson evidence. Don't let them go trying to answer this in 2NR. It says that the system is already weak, meaning that the app has a chance of overcoming the system or playing outside of the feedback loop. Things like WikiLeaks can. And things like WikiLeaks mourning, the app being a grave marker mourning of the animal can uniquely rupture the system. The point where they conceded that the system is already weak, the net has a high burden of proving any kind of solvency. Also, they are hard pressed to win a link to the app. We don't uniquely prop up the system. In fact, we're probably a better destruction of the system by embracing the irony that the debate community views as of mourning the animal. They've never contested that mourning the animal is uniquely ironic because it's the system that it is a point. Is a disavowal point that makes like systems of makes the system and the structure of the university and the state possible. So the only chance of like solving back for the already weakened structure is using the animal, the ballot as a grave marker for the site.
444 prep.
My word just crashed, guys.